starting shortly. We'll just
you need to mute your.
Just get in next 2 minutes.
Why is this an echo?
Okay, so you're welcome, everyone. It's a great pleasure to have you all here tonight, this evening. I see Katie Melpondera and also Rachel, who has been in here a couple of minutes before now. Welcome, Rachel. Joining us from Kenya, and Katie joining us from Qatar. And also founders, welcome to John, Abu, seeing the house. Lauren, your screen is blank. John, please turn on your camera so that mentors can see and also see. Adjust your business. So once again, it's a pleasure and delight to gather for the weekly session, and tonight
sorry about that. I think we're having some internet challenges over this end, but I think the DA has been locked out. So yes, she was welcoming us. Welcome to the session. Mentors, welcome. Founders, please switch on your mic, switch on your videos so the mentors can see you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of you. That means we have one person. Katie, welcome. Okay. So we'll move on immediately into the session's activities. First, I'd like to welcome us all to this session. Founders, I'm sure you guys have been having a great time. So much to share and so much to learn. So we're moving on to this session is the go-to-market. So I'll return. Lydia, are you back in yet? Okay.
Oh, yes.
oh yes. All right. So thank you, Shagun. Yes. So tonight's session is on go-to-market, and is the go-to-market and scale session. And the goal of this session is to help the founders to finalize a strong go-to and how to prioritize your go-to-market initiatives at the beginning of a business. So the Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, the goal is to have the founders finalize a strong go-to-market plan. That's the goal. And so the mentors are going to speak to this, the following aspects. One, how to evaluate different models for growing the business. Two, how to develop marketing messages that resonate with your target, customers. Three, the best techniques to test messaging and customer acquisition channels. And then how to measure conversion rates, how to set growth goals, how to develop a growth plan, unit economics, and then how to leverage advisors to set and develop your growth goals and growth plans. So we're most delighted to have with us experienced mentors who are also directors of sister chapters. We have Katie, who is joining us from Qatar, FI Qatar. Katie is founder and managing and DLLC, an innovation strategy and learning development consultancy, which is based in Doha. Most of you already know, familiar with Katie, who has been with us since the beginning of this cohort, and also has had numerous office hours. You've also engaged her in office hours, and she's been involved in entrepreneurship and innovation since 2008, when she joined the Software and Information Industry Association as the education division manager, where she ran SIIAs in EdTech Innovation, an EdTech Innovation incubator, which helped in connecting new and innovative software companies with prospective partners and mentors. So her LinkedIn profile is in the chat box, so you can connect with Katie there. Yes, and also make sure you connect her. She'll be setting up office hours. Connect with her on office hours. Yes. Also, with us tonight is Rachel Ndungu. Rachel is a tech entrepreneur, experience managing a P&L of over $200 million in multiple countries. Yes, Spanish.
I think Lady A is off again. My apologies, please. We're having some network challenges here. So I'll just pick up from where she ended. I guess she was introducing Gamaliel Tanimo. I don't know where we heard her last. It's kind of difficult knowing that. Okay, you're back on now, so I think you take the last person again. Sorry.
Okay, so Gamaliel is Gamaliel, please turn on your camera. It'll be nice to see you. Long time, and good to have you. So he's one of our favorite mentors in FI Abuja. So he's an active professional with over 16 years spanning sectors such as financial institution, professional services, FMCG, manufacturing, and EDC. And he has provided mentorship to several startups, like the Zenith Hackathon, Tony Elumelu Foundation, Ashoka British Council program in 2021, Daystar Business Forum in 2018. He's worked with brands like Google, IBM, Facebook, Sage Africa, and Unilever, Mobile, and Julius Berger. So you're very, very welcome, Gamaliel. And he's a certified John Maxwell trainer, an accredited management consultant, and a Facebook Blueprint digital marketing associate. So welcome back, Gamaliel. So please go on and also set up your office hours so that the mentors can engage with you. And mentors, like I mentioned, in talking about one of the goals of these or what the mentors are to set and develop your growth goals and growth plans. So you are in that season or that period where you are building your advice, you're putting your legal infrastructure in place, and you're also setting up an advisory board. And I think I was on a session with one of your colleagues, and I said, okay, we're here to guide, and you've interacted with lots of mentors, in the course of this program. And so that's, apart from, other referrals that you may have, you want to look into the pool, of mentors that we have to draw your advisors from, because they understand the model that you're building is that which is heading towards becoming a global brand. So you want to work with, at least one or two, mentors or leaders in the pool, in the FI pool, who are familiar with what you're doing. So with that much ado, I'd like to hand over to Shegun to handle the rest of the program. The other person we're waiting for mentor is Uju, but when she comes in, then we can introduce her appropriately. So welcome everyone. I do have a nice session.
Okay, thank you, Lady A. So we'll kick off we'll move on straight into the next item for the agenda today, and we'll be taking working group reports. So right now we have two working groups. The presidents are here, I suppose. Presidents of the working group are here, I suppose. So yes. Let's have the first one. Who's going first?
So I'll go first. My name is John Uzo from the Explorers Working Group. Currently we are find the number, and we had one person leave. I think that was a week ago, up to a week ago. We had two people that joined our group. Thankfully, the two of them were in the same group where they came from. So bonding was easier. So we bonded already. We had a fantastic session yesterday. We went over time because we're enjoying each other's companies. And we've been busy. We haven't had time to meet as often as we'd like, but we're hoping to meet more often after today's training. Everybody, I think there are two people that are, if I'm not wrong, 2 or 3 people that are yet to get incorporated. So we are pushing them. They started the works already. They've spoken to either a lawyer they've known before, a lawyer from the FI Academy. And we're pushing them to try to meet the deadlines as well. I think that's all for me for now.
Any negatives to report? Any very strong negatives you're looking at? Anything like a setback for you in your group?
No, nothing striking, nothing that comes to mind. No.
Okay, who are those in your group, by the way?
Abubakar Ghana, John Akombi, Livingston, Daniel, Oluwadara Benley, and John Uzomi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your office hours participation for your members, like your team members?
Okay, so Catherine released stuff, the reports this morning,
Okay.
and it's, yeah, so Bubaka, I noticed, was on the list of those defaulting with less than 20. Me, myself, I don't remember, but I don't know if John Akomi, I don't remember who else was there, but I think Daniel was also there. Daniel Livingston was also there. So we've already taken correction, and I'm sure as they are here now, they know they are supposed to book at least 5 office hours in the next 1 week.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, Empower, the next group.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Hello.
go on.
Okay, okay, my name is Barnabas Akol. So for Empower groups, our meeting days are Mondays and Fridays, 5 p.m. And we met Friday and Monday, and we had extensive and fruitful discussions. During one of the meetings, we gave feedbacks to people, constructive feedbacks based on how they can improve their offerings. For instance, one of the group members was giving an advice on how he can better showcase what distinguishes his offering from other providers. And he was also advised to set up a landing page and put up the distinguishing message and see what the user response will be. We also went through the assignment to ensure that everybody understands what they are meant to do for the assignment. And I think 1 or 2 persons have not incorporated, and so we're encouraging them to incorporate and before the given deadline. So basically, these are the things that we've discussed. Our meetings have been fruitful, and we've been encouraging each other, ensuring that we stay on and we remain until the end. Thank you. I can't hear you.
I've been hearing some good news from your group. So any setbacks, any problems within the group?
Not really, no problem. It's just some tracks are actually challenging. You know, we had some people ask particular questions that had to do with having to make research about labor laws and all of those. The work is pretty much, time frames are actually small. These are the only thing, but there's no setbacks.
Okay, guys, Barnabas and John, any interaction between the groups? Any synergy within your groups? Are you guys connecting? Are you talking, or are you keeping yourself within your teams?
So the answer to that is no.
Any of you can go. So what are you guys doing? Are you guys keeping yourself?
So the answer to that is no, and that's unfortunate. That's something.
So everybody is on his own.
So
Maybe because we did.
Well, I think we should change that, Barnabas. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think maybe one because we didn't give it a consideration. And
anyway, you guys talk about that
later
later on.
Yeah.
Talk about that later on.
Okay.
Okay. So you talk about that later on. I've been cut off. I've been cut off. I've been cut off.
So he has been cut off. All right. Okay, so the next group. Oh, okay, yeah, it's just the two groups. Okay, so thank you for the feedback. And so the next item on the agenda is your hot seats. So this evening, we're going to have 4 of you on the hot seats. So the first person to go is Abubakar. So going forward, from now onward, it's your 3-minute pitch. So Catherine, please allow him to share his screen. So Abu, over to you. And mentors, please remember, use your rating link. So whoever, all of you will need to provide the ratings for the mentors on the link, and then 1 or 2 people will provide verbal feedback. Yes. So thank you. So Abu.
Hi, just to confirm, can you guys see my screen?
I hope I'm not out of the. I'm still there. Wow. Oh, my screen is frozen. This is crazy.
Can you guys see my screen and hear me?
Yes, we can see your screen. We can.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. So, do I start now?
Cannot.
Okay. Hello? I'm just gonna wait for a confirmation for the go ahead.
Oops. Just checking in, Ajum. I think maybe there was a disconnection there.
Yes,
seems the founder is waiting. Yeah,
okay.
the founder is waiting.
Okay, so Abu, you can.
Should I go ahead?
You can go ahead now.
Okay. So
Let's share your. Okay.
can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me go ahead. So outliers, business professionals coaching you for the business of tomorrow. The main problem we're trying to mitigate is the fact that there's a huge job deficit in Nigeria. It all started when I was in NYSC, and I met a lot of people who didn't know what they wanted to do after NYSC due to the job deficit in the country. We currently have over 100 million people who are 0 to 35 years old, of which you have over 30 million being considered to be in the labor force. And unfortunately, of that 30 million, you have over 20 million unemployed. In addition, you have technology constantly changing the markets, which basically causes some jobs to be obsolete and redundant. So our solution is simply an open source online learning platform where professionals from different industries can essentially transfer their skills through selling online courses on our website. This would show the population the different SME opportunities locally available in the hopes of getting them to become self-employed job suppliers. And we hope for the fact that the platform is open source to basically spark competition from course creators to highlight different market opportunities as markets change. So our product, we have a dedicated courses section where you would basically see the different SME opportunities locally available to you. And we also have a dedicated interactions section, which is called the online workshop, where users would have access to exclusive events, mentors and serious pairs, agencies for spaces and staff, as well as the cherry on top of the cake funding opportunities. So we're not the first open source online learning platform. We're also not the first locally relevant teaching institution. But we're the first to basically combine the two while providing users access to funding opportunities, as well as access to the actual instructors they're learning from in a way that benefits both parties. So we've been able to partner with an award-winning PR company called PR Nigeria. We've also partnered with 3 top-performing industry professionals to create our own courses, and we are currently in talks with the African Development Bank and Sweden to fund people who go through our courses. We've also built a community of over 50 people, and we forecast to grow that to 300 by the end of December. And our business model is simple. We have course sales as well as subscriptions to the online workshop. So for course sales, we intend to create our own courses in addition to earning commissions from curated courses that professionals would create and sell on our platform. We intend to get 14% of the unemployed labor force in Nigeria, which amounts to a total of about 1.5% of Nigeria's total population. And our go-to-market strategy is to basically grow our community organically and then pre-sell our courses to them. And from that, we would basically launch and open the platform up to creators so that they can create their courses and sell. And we also would then launch our online workshop subscription. Here's our team of 5 with the combined experiences of over 10 years, and we are raising $150,000. Thank you.
All right, so that's it. Thank you for the pitch. So we'll have Gamaliel and Katie provide feedback. Gamaliel, please unmute and provide your feedback.
Thank you, Ajima.
You're welcome.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, since this is all about go-to-market, I first thank you for everything that you're doing, and thank you for the organizers for the opportunity to talk to us. So the question is, I want to ask, how many paying customers do you have at the moment? And can you hear me?
Just a minute, just provide the feedback.
Okay, so the feedback is that I think what you're doing is good. There's a market, there's a demand, and I think that is scalable. So well done, well done. That's all for now.
Okay, so Katie, feedback.
Sure. And we're doing feedback and then scores after?
Yes,
the idea?
scores.
Perfect. Okay. So I think that it's a really interesting concept. I think you want to get your numbers up. I mean, of course, you got to start someplace, and 50, that's a decent number to have in your community. I would be curious about who are those 50? Are they enrolled in courses? Those kinds of metrics might give me more of a sense of what the potential is for the organic growth that you're talking about. So when you say that your go-to-market strategy is organic growth, you want to point out in your pitch what are going to be the seeds that spur that organic growth. So when you mentioned that community of 50, I'd like to hear, what's going to happen with them that's going to cause them to be evangelists for your platform. Are they currently going through a course? They've already rated at a top score, or whatever the case may be? So I'd encourage you to give us just a little bit more flesh on the bones about why organic growth is going to be an effective go-to-market strategy for you. And I think that the key to that is talking about this community of 50, because those are going to be your evangelists at the end of the day. I also would have some questions about quality control for this platform. If you don't have high quality courses on there to begin with, that's going to be a major risk for your organic growth, right? So I'd love to hear in your next iteration of your pitch how you're going to ensure that the quality is, what is required in order for people to organically, evangelize and hear about this and spread the word and cause more people to come on board. I'd also love to hear what you will do with that $150,000 US specifically. So maybe a little bit more about what precisely your next steps are. I think you were at 3 minutes on the dot. So I'll stop there.
Okay, thank you. So Gamaliel, anything to add?
I think Katie has touched on it. Like I said, I wanted to know, importantly, like Katie said, what's a paying customers like? What's the business model like? And again, like I said, there's a huge potential for this product, for this idea, if we work on it very well. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess during office hours, you have more time to dig in on and get all the answers. So thank you for the feedback, and please remember to put in the score. Okay. So whilst we were on the pitch, okay, Uju just came in. So welcome, Uju. Uju is a resourceful and results-oriented team player with over 17 years work. Uju is popularly known as Toda Africa. Yes, so that's her brand. She's the founder of Toda Africa, and she has lots of experience, having developed both hard and soft skills in credit analysis, negotiation, human relations, and project management and leadership, and obtaining her first degree as the best graduating student in sociology from the prestigious University of Lagos. So Uju is that e-commerce also go to a person, and has loads and loads of experience with professional diploma in marketing from the University of British Columbia, and diploma in creativity and entrepreneurship from the Berkeley Institute for Creative and Entrepreneurship. And so a whole lot more. Her LinkedIn profile is also being shared in the WhatsApp, in the chat box. So welcome, Uju. And so we're already on the hot seat. So Uju is also one of our favorite mentors and is familiar with what we do here. So welcome, happy to have you. Yes. So next on the hot seat is.
Thank you, Ajuma. For a bit, I wasn't sure it was me you were talking about. I'm so sorry for joining you. I'm so sorry. Traffic and I was just rushing because I didn't want to join via phone. I wanted to join. I'm so sorry about that.
You're welcome. I trust you. Always trying to play it down. Uju is a big shot to in the tech ecosystem. So better hold her tight, hold her very tight.
Don't mind how.
So make
The
sure
struggle
you
is
set up your
real.
office hours. They are the ones that have paving the way through hard work and sweat and determination. So you just even want to draw from her strength, you know, from that resilient spirit, you know, and that she's, you know, she has it and has, you know, brought it to this business and built it thus far. So she's not just local, she's, you know, she's going global, she's in Africa, everywhere. All right, so yeah, so okay, so let's move on with Afolabi. Yes, you are next on the hot seat. So please share your screen and you have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Afolabi.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Utasha Flabi. I am the co-founder of SMS Protect. Our mission statement, we are trying to give back control of information and data to the owners. The problem we're trying to solve, in recent years, we have seen increase in loss of assets and financial records due to increase in smishing attack. Between 2012 to 2016, there were about 700,000 successful smishing attacks. Between 2020 to 2022, there were about 434 million successful smishing attacks. That's about 60,000 increased percentage. So about 85% of smishing attacks carried out on mobile phones don't require email. And most of us perform our bank transactions and all that on our phones. So what solution we are building? We are building a SaaS mobile application that can scan your SMS, analyze your SMS, and check if it has any smishing attempts. We also have an in-built URL checker to inform you that the URL of that SMS is fraudulent. What are the features that helping us do this? We have a well-trained deep learning model that improves our accuracy, that studies smishing patterns, and also helps us protect our users. This is a working prototype of our product. So our business model ranges from freemium to gold, from free to cheap amount of $14 per month. Who are competitors? Our competitors are Truecaller and GMS. What differentiates us? What differentiates that? We don't just check the number that sends the SMS. We check the context of the SMS. I will check any embedded URL in the SMS to ensure that it's not fraudulent or can cause you harm. What our go-to-market strategy? Our go-to-market strategy is to launch a mass marketing campaign for awareness, partner with social engineering groups to make our product and the solution and also we have also planned to create animations, push the problem out there so people will know about the problem before they can know about the solution. Our product roadmap, we aim to become a full-fledged cybersecurity company by 2024. And we plan to go into data recovery and data assurance by 2025. My team, we have over combined 10 years of experience in IT sector. We have an advisor who has over 20 years experience building startups. We're asking for $150,000 to kickstart our marketing campaign and also scale our infrastructure to be able to handle multiple requests without crashing. Thank you.
Okay, great one there. Within time. Okay, so we'll take feedback from Uju and Rachel. So Uju and Rachel, please give us feedback on, you don't need to ask him questions, just give him feedback and then score him. Rachel, you can go first. Hello, Rachel.
Yes. I
Okay.
was trying to, switch on my video. So I think I like the presentation. Is carried on the problem, the solution, And I liked also the way he was able to map what they're offering versus the competition. But a bit of clarity around that, I think, would be good for, is it Oguntos? Is it Oguntwase?
Yes, a good question.
Yeah, I'll be practicing. I'm sure by end of this presentation, I'll have mastered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought you could a little bit clarify around your competitive advantage. You talked of quality, so I didn't understand whether your system checks grammatical errors or what sort of quality. And then I was wondering whether you have data protection laws like we do in Kenya. So are you ensuring that your customers are compliant with that? Yeah, so that wasn't very clear. I liked your passion and energy, and you demonstrated that you believe in your idea, so I would give you a 4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was quite generous. Okay, would you?
Okay. Okay, I think I agree with Rachel a bit. I stepped out a bit, and by the time I came out, I couldn't understand a lot of things. So my bad on that part. But then what wasn't very clear to me is, I know that you said that you're able to check the SMS and not just say that something is bad. You're able to check whether there is a malware or something in the SMS. Okay, so, and I didn't see how you said you're going to do that. And another thing is, I mean, because if I know how you're going to do that, maybe the next question will be, would that make sense for me, a normal person, to use it and be able to pay you the $30 or 30 naira or 10 naira per SMS, you know, when I'm just paying two naira maybe to get an SMS from MTN, you know, so why do I want to pay an extra 10 naira to be able to know whether whatever you're trying to sell to me, you know, makes sense for me to be able to pay that per SMS, you know? So it's not very clear for me on that side, you know, so maybe, but I like that your presentation is actually very straightforward and, you know, very clear, but I think maybe you have to find a way to add this so that when as clear as it is, it should be able to tell me, okay, we're trying to do this. This is how we want to do it. And most importantly, because we're talking about go-to-market, you know, part of go-to-market is the product, you know, and also the market. So the market for me is, who am I looking at to take this and to pay for this? Because you may have a very sexy, very interesting idea, but if it's very nice, except you're going to do it free and the world will be very happy with you, okay, maybe you win one of those Nobel laureates that they give around. But if the idea is for you to be able to make money, so there must be something that will make me, Uju, want to be willing to pay 10 naira to you every time I receive an SMS that I receive for free. You know, SMSs are free, right? So what you're bringing on board is you're trying to tell me now that for me to receive SMS, I have to pay for it. I'm still trying to put it around my head, and I didn't get the answer that made me, oh, that's interesting, I would like to pay for it. I didn't get it from what you're doing. So maybe we have to look at the value proposition again, okay? And look at who is going to pay for this product, and try to find a story that will resonate with them, that will make them want to part with one naira. Do you understand? Because if we can get people to pay even 10 kobo for, if the story is so good that someone is willing to pay 10 kobo just to receive message, okay, then that's fine. I think 10 kobo will be a good price to pay. And then we can now look at scale, because if you can get 10 million Nigerians to agree to pay you 10 kobo every time they receive a text message, and there are 10, and people receive like 10, 20 text messages every day, which is like 2 naira that they pay. So somebody pays you 2 naira times 10 million, that's 20 million naira per day. That's a lot of money. So when you now tell me 10 naira I have to pay you to receive text message because somebody is going to send me like spam or something like that, I don't know. In terms of go-to-market, we may have to go back to the drawing board and look at it critically. But it's a good concept because it's making me think, so we need to think about it some more and look at how to tell the story to be able to make someone like me pay. If you can get me to pay, then anybody can pay.
Yes, ma'am. I'll schedule officers to explain more.
Okay.
I think you should schedule that's a customer telling you to she wants to understand your value proposition better.
Yeah.
So I think you should schedule officers and convince her. And when you convince her, you probably have convinced me too. So schedule those officers. Thank you, Ju. Thank you.
They should convince you separately.
No, I think if you're convinced, the way you talk, in fact, if you're convinced, I am convinced. I mean, so Kutuashe, you have that assignment. Convince her. So
yes, I will do
Daniel,
that. Thank you very much.
Daniel, you're up next. Livingstone, you're up next. Daniel, you're up next.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Is my screen visible? Sorry.
Yes, your screen is visible. So.
Okay. Sorry, I'm waiting for the start time.
Okay, so your time starts now.
My company, Wizard, is equipping over 300 million small business owners to scale their businesses faster using artificial intelligence automation. The problem we are trying to solve is that small business owners are unable to scale quickly due to constraints in consistently creating interesting, engaging, and high visibility content for their businesses. This problem is caused as a result of creative block, writer's block, and low business visibility. We are solving this problem by automating text-based write-ups, social media postings and engagement management, image, and even music content production using artificial intelligence. We are different from our competitors because we undo the entire process of social media automation, which also includes engagement management. We handle tokenization of assets, and we cater directly to small business owners, which most of our competitors do not. Our competitors cater mostly to copywriters and the writing industry, and we are relatively cheaper. We provide the best platform to grow your business using artificial intelligence, automated production of multiple social media content simultaneously using artificial intelligence. Our product is very simple to use. Most of our features can be carried out in 3 simple steps. In September, we were able to acquire a license for GB3 Dial E and Mobert. In October, we got our pre-flight landing page ready. November, we started our final product design. And in December, we are finalizing our product design and launching some marketing campaign. We operate a subscription model. We charge between $17 to $40 for a minimum of 20,000 to 50,000 words per month. Users have the ability to increase the number of words they want per month for an additional charge. We are looking forward to a revenue of 2.6 million in 2023. Our total available market is 333 million small businesses worldwide. Serviceable available market is 33.8 million. Serviceable obtainable market is 1.3 million. We operate in an industry that's currently worth $13 billion, and we are looking for a small pie of that industry valuation by the end of next year. Our current competitor is Jasper. Our most ferocious competitor is Jasper, which are more expensive and actually more professional. I'm a software engineer with 10 years of experience. My co-founder, Jeremiah, has over 6 years of product management experience. Mr. Hossein is our team member, 9+ years of experience in software engineering also. And Martina Kowalska is our marketing specialist with 6+ years of experience in marketing. We are raising $750,000 to close 5,000 business customers, reach an annual recurring revenue of $2.4 million by the end of next year. Thank you.
I see our founders are getting to time with their pitch. Good one there, Livingston. I know you did some work with our committee, right? Okay. I hope you made those corrections pointed. Anyway, so I'm going to switch the mentors to comment on this. We'll take comment from Katie and then comment from Rachel. Katie and Rachel, please give us comments on Livingstone's presentation. Katie and Rachel.
Sure. Since you've mentioned my name first, I'm going to guess I should jump in first.
Yeah.
Well, I want to first just sort of congratulate you on your progress. You've made impressive progress since we did our office hours. I'm left with some questions that you'll want to clarify in your next.
Livingstone. I get.
Katie, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, I heard someone else jump in. Was someone planning to go first?
No, you go on, please. Go on.
Okay, all right, sorry about that. So just a few questions I'd like to see you clarify in your next pitch. You know, I think that your market segmentation is too wide. You know, I think you need to really pick a niche. And the reason for that is that I'm not fully clear on who exactly your customer is. And so I think it's going to be difficult for you to market to them effectively. And even if you're planning to serve a very wide market, you still want to pick what we call a beachhead, which is the first sort of the preliminary group of customers who are most likely to want what you have to offer. So you seem to be speaking generally about small businesses. Not every small business, as you know, I mean, you've talked about copywriters, but then when you did your market sizing, it didn't seem aligned to me that you were talking only to copywriters. So I just wanted to challenge you to be more clear and also more specific on what your beachhead is going to be. Who are if it is small business copywriters, who are the subset of small business copywriters? Are you talking about bloggers? Are you talking about people like me who, you know, I have a business. It's not a copywriting business, but I need copywriting done in order to, you know, promote my company and have my marketing up. So I think there's more specificity that you need to provide there. I also want to challenge you, same as the previous pitch, to be just a little bit more clear on how exactly you plan to use that 650,000. You know, if an investor is going to seriously consider making that investment in you, they need to have a bit more clarity than what you provided. I think the other challenge I'd offer to you is your slides. From a pitch perspective, your slides are very text heavy. If you can try and convert more of those words into graphics, you know, eliminate as much dense text as possible, that will help me to focus on what you are saying. Remember, you are saying that, you know, you're not expecting the listener to read your slides. But overall, I think well articulated. I think you just need to get a bit more focused so that your pace as well can be more relaxed and it's easier for me to listen, have less text on the slides as well from a pitch perspective. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Katie. Rachel, you're up next for comments.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I agree with Kate, and she has highlighted some of my feedback. I think that when you started, you talked about your solution being AI, and I was so eager. I work with small businesses, so I could relate with your solution. I just, you through that so fast, and that's why I was also asking whether you have an MVP, whether you have a working version of your solution. So I would think maybe just talking a little bit about your solution, how different it is from that of Jasper and the rest would add value. But I would like to know whether you have an MVP. Do you? You're on mute.
Yeah, so currently we are working on the MVP. We are just finalizing our product design prototype. That's the UI UX interface for our product.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that would be my just making it a little bit clearer, and maybe when you have your MVP to be easier to do that because you can demonstrate, and then highlighting your competitive advantage versus your competitors. Business model, I think that was clear. Yeah, so those would be my comments. And all the best. I think you have a good solution in my opinion. Just tweaking it a bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. So we'll be picking the last founder for pitching today. And then we'll be taking response from Uzo and Gamaliel. So John Akombi, you ready? I shouldn't even be asking you if you're ready. John Akombi, you should be ready. So share your screen and let's hear you.
I'm trying to share my screen now.
Okay, great.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we see it now. Okay, right. So your time starts now.
All right, so I'm John Akobi. So I'm building crystals. So our tagline is African products are our pride. Okay, so our vision statement is to build a marketplace to connect local manufacturers to global network of resellers. We want to be the largest place where quality African goods can be sourced globally. Products, ties, shoes, leathers, agro-allied products. The problem is because of the poor marketing and poor product quality that is fueling consumer perception and is leading to low patronage. In Nigeria, in 2017, unsold inventory amounts to 321 billion naira, and in Q1 2020, it was raised to 402 billion naira. So our solution is to build a B2B marketplace to increase awareness of quality brands to boost patronage. So our business model is commission-based as start. We want to charge 5% for every transactions that happen on the marketplace. And our alternative models that we're looking up to is the subscription model and white labeling. So the market size in Nigeria alone, we have over 710,000 businesses in the formal sector along the manufacturing value chain and over 30 million MSMEs along the same chain. So in Nigeria, the e-commerce marketplace has been projected to reach a 14 billion market valuation by 2027. And in Africa, it has been projected to reach $82 billion by 2027. So our unique selling proposition. So we have competitors, we have indirect competitors, we have Jumia, we have Konga, we have Gigi, and we have direct competitors, the Trade Depot, we have Alazo, we have Red Cloud, we have Omnibiz and Sabi. So for merchants, we want them to access raw materials as a pull factor for local manufacturers. We want to be able to draw local manufacturers to our platform by giving them access to raw materials. And then for resellers, we only want them to access quality products and then trade financing too. Then for suppliers of raw materials, because of the problem of low internet penetration in Nigeria, We want them to be able to sell their farm produce using a USSD string code. So our sales channel throughout is our website, the social media channels, then USSD string code, then our marketing activities. We want to, by the time of launch, we want people to have access to free merchandise, like sample products from enterprises for early users. Then we want to employ field marketers. We want to advertise on national TVs and radio stations. We want to host conferences and seminars for producers on how to design and produce user-centric quality products, and then create awareness.
Thank you, John. What happened? Your pitch. Your time is up. Okay, so we'll take response from Uju and Gamelia. Ladies first. Uju goes first.
Have you not heard that ladies first after men?
You know, I knew you were going to say that. I just knew you were going to say that. Okay.
Okay, so John, well done. Honestly, I have to say well done, because even sitting down to conceptualize these things is commendable, really, and putting it all together. But there's I play here, and trust me, it's not easy. The question I wanted to ask you is, how are you going to get the suppliers to come to your platform? What are you going to tell them to be able to get? Because we see what you're trying to build is what Traders of Africa is doing right now. So maybe you should look at what Traders of Africa, tradersofafrica.com, right? And I know that space is still open. I mean, it can be anybody's market, right? Because we're not even doing as much as we want to do, even though we've just signed a partnership with African Continental Free Trade Area for Nigeria. So I know that getting people to come to the platform, there's a lot of capability building that needs to happen. So it's not as easy as you have put it here, I must tell you. Okay, maybe we'll talk more at, and, you know, so I can understand exactly where you want to play and see how I may be of assistance. I'm actually playing here. What I must tell you is that it's not as easy as you have projected. You know, I don't know how much you're trying to raise to do this, you know, but it's not easy, trust me. That's all I can say. I'm playing there right now. Getting the buyers to come. There's a trust issue that you haven't addressed. Talking about it is very, very good, is nice, is interesting. But trust me, people can come to your platform and meet. Two things will happen. They can take they can take it offline to trade. Secondly, is that they can be there, meet, but they're not trading, and it's because of trust. The way you built is actually the way what we try to do for TOFA. For TOFA, we started with just the platform, and this was 5 years ago. But we realized that trade was not occurring, and we saw the problem that was making trade not occur, and we're solving for that. And every day we're seeing more problems why trade is not occurring, and we keep solving those issues. So maybe when we talk, we'll be able to look at exactly the problem you want to solve, because if we're saying that the problem is that there are unsold goods, right? If you're building a marketplace, how is that solving the problem of unsold goods? Marketplace only gives visibility and probably access. Okay, so but how do you convert, just because you gave visibility, how do you convert that to trade? Remember, there's something called trust. There's something called quality. So because it's a marketplace, you do not have control of the quality of what anybody puts on that platform. So if you want to deal with, I heard you talk about shoes, right? In fact, on Monday, my team, we started onboarding the Shoemakers Association, because the after partnership we have is in conjunction with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So we started onboarding them, and I know what some of the issues that's on ground. So how do people can make stuff? If the quality is not good, nobody is going to buy them. So how do you solve for quality? How do you solve for trust? I hear you say financing. How do you want to start financing those things? Trust me, in my little 5 years of doing this thing, you don't want to hear the experiences I've had. So if you want to play in this space, trust me, you need a lot of money. Your ability to have those kind of money and be ready to lose those money as you even try to gain experience to understand how this market is. Okay, so I think we'll talk more. I'm not trying to discourage you because I'm in that space. No, this space hasn't been touched, but I can share some of my experiences. You will learn from them so that you try not to make the same ones I've made. And maybe it will help you to either pivot or even if you're going into this, to help you know what to look out for and what to target as you move on. But the way you put it there, trust me, in this our space, it doesn't work that way. But maybe it will work for you. I mean, I don't know, you know how these things are. It may not have worked for us this way, but you may just come and maybe there's grace. My Harvard teacher will always say that after you've done everything, they will not say, okay, so you pray for luck. And I say, okay, so the problem here is even luck, because if you finish everything, let's start praying for luck. And I call it grace. Okay, it is grace that will make somebody do something and suddenly you're doing that thing at the right time. And somebody comes along to give that kind of credibility you need for people to be able to assess and believe in your platform. But let's talk, well done.
Thank you, Uju. I don't need to tell you, book office house. Gamelia, please, comments for him.
So Uju, thank you. I was taking note whilst we were talking, and it's nice to meet you. You talked on the things I took note of. First off, John, is well done. With COVID, business models have changed, so this is good. I heard you talk about white labeling. I want you to ask in what context. I heard you talk about logistics. I'm wondering, are you also going to be involved in logistics as well? Isn't that an entire vertical that is humongous in itself? And I hear you want to do training, you want to do this, you want to do that. Humbly, I think you're throwing too many things into the towel at the same time, and it would be nice. Maybe you start from one. I'm sure Uju's wealth of experience will come in handy as you go to the market. And I wanted to ask, how many users do you have as a date, or is this just an idea? Because of course you need to test first. How many users do you have? What are the gaps? What are the feedback? Maybe all of these things will help you, answer Uju's questions around trust, issues, etc., etc. Those are my immediate thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Gamelia. So with that, we've come to the end of the hot seat session. We've got a really bumper session. You can start sharing your screen now. We've got a real wonderful session. I gather that all 4 mentors will be giving us 10-minute presentations each. So founders, you're going to hear from 10 wonderful, experienced mentors. Take your notes down and note questions you want, and also note certain lessons. So I'm just going to do it in the order in which it's written out here. We'll do Rachel first, then Gamelia, then Katie, then Uju last. I'll repeat again: Rachel first, Gamelia next, Katie third, and Uju. We'll wrap up with Uju. Now for the mentors, I cannot time you. I can't time the mentors, but I'll plead. I'll plead that we keep it in 10 minutes. We have the office hours, so I know you have a passion to help these young founders. You help them even more at the office hours. So, like I said, I can't time. So, Rachel, you're going first. I guess your slide is up now.
Yeah, thank you. I will stick to the time. I made my presentation very brief. They've almost covered my presentation because they kept on talking about go-to-market strategy. So I was very impressed. And the one who impressed me most was Afolabi. I'll say practice your first name. I think it's lovely and get it right. I think he actually had a slide on go-to-market, which impressed me. So great work, the founders who have pitched and for being bold and putting yourselves out there to receive feedback. So all the very best. That's the beginning of success. My name is Rachel Ndumu. I have founded 2 startups, Biashara Africa and Fibroid Center. And I will little share about my experience as an entrepreneur and a startup founder, because I'm sure the rest of the mentors are like me. And then I will share our how we started, our go-to-market strategy, what was our experience, and how we went about it. And so Biashara Africa is a community of small businesses. We mainly focus on women and the youth. And we support these small businesses through capacity building and other programs to adopt e-commerce. That's my specialty, e-commerce. And then we give them access to collateral-free financing for them to be able to grow their businesses. So once they're online, we have more data points to credit score them, and so we can comfortably give them, do micro lending, small amounts based on their activities, their cash flows, and so forth, and financing that does not require collateral. Yeah, so that has helped them to grow. We have over 10,000 small businesses, mainly women. 60% of our small businesses are women. And then we have 30% youth. So we mainly focus on those 2 groups because they are the underserved ones. Now, I struggled with fibroids and I was diagnosed late. Fibroids are non-cancerous growth that are common in Black women. Actually, over 80% of Black women will have fibroids by the age of 50. However, not every woman requires treatment because they have fibroids, only 25% of that. So you can imagine in Africa, where we have possibly close to 800 million women, half of the population, the 1.4 billion, and think through who are within the reproductive age, because fibroids affect women within their reproductive age. So possibly, let's take a conservative number of 200 million. And then out of the 200 million, then you have 80% having fibroids and 25% of these women requiring treatment. Now, I found 2 gaps, lack of enough awareness and access to affordable treatment. And so because at Biashara Africa, the bulk of our clientele are women, I thought as an entrepreneur, why don't I start an e-health platform that supports women? So I'm still serving my, I'm still referencing to go-to-market. So Biashara Africa has a clientele of small businesses. 60% are owned by women. I have a challenge here experienced by 80% of women by the age of 50. And so I thought, let me have an e-health platform that will educate these women about fibroids and connect them to gynecologists. And so that's how Fibroid Center was started. I started this year. And so how did we go to market with the Fibroid Center? We tapped into a portfolio of women who own small businesses. And most of women who run small businesses are within age 25 to 50. So they are within what we will be targeting. So that was our go-to-market strategy, easier. And so Fibroid Center kicked off pretty fast and quite easy. But let's define what go-to-market is, as I also share my experience with Biashara Africa, which was different. So go-to-market strategy focuses on 2 key aspects of your startup. So how do you reach your targeted audience or customers? And most of you defined who you are targeting as your customers. And how do you reach them in the fastest and most cost-effective way? At the same time, even as you reach your customers, how do you also achieve competitive advantage? And I think most the four founders who pitched actually talked about their go-to-market. So there are two key aspects here. You must have your target audience, customer. So you must be clear on who you are targeting. If you're targeting like women, so who women is a very broad segment. So what category of women, especially when you're starting, you need
I think Rachel is temporarily off. Let's just hold on a bit for the connection to stabilize.
To define and give 5 learned how to create personas or your target before you even move to the next step, whether you have fundraised or not customers and who doing it. Now we can move to the next parts when you're building a good go-to-market strategy or plan. When we said Be Assured Africa, we are very clear we're targeting small businesses. Just targeting, we realize actually most of the small led by a woman. So we thought then we need to redefine who we are targeting, who our target customer is. So that's how we started now focusing on women. So if you look at our communications, even our tone, we are just focusing on the woman, you know, and our strategies are always focused on women-owned and women-led small businesses. And then we had also not defined who of a small business. We have several definitions. The UN will define it differently. It has different parameters. Other African countries have different parameters. So again, we had to redefine into detail on who exactly and where do you want to play. So currently, mainly we focus on small businesses with a turnover of 12,000 a year, 12,000 and below a year. So that translates to $1,000, $12,000 a year. That translates to $1,000 per month. Those are the ones we are targeting. Why was that important? Because that one also defines on our value proposition. For example, we stopped talking about just lending. So now we focus on micro lending because our small businesses are doing smaller turnovers. So we want them to borrow less, small amounts, but more often. So that's our business model. So you see how important it is to define your audience as you go to market. Then define your competitive advantage. What value are you bringing on board? By us building capacity for them to adopt e-commerce or move their business online, first by selling. We are not even telling them to have CRMs, to adopt accounting softwares. So that gives us more data points for us to credit score them. So that's a plus for us because they don't have audited accounts to credit score them. So, so that's a primary service for us, building capacity for them to adopt e-commerce. Once they're online and they're selling online, then they can sell more because they can reach a wider customer clientele. So that is the value we are bringing. The other thing based on that, we can be able to credit score them and give them access to collateral-free financing. And that's how we went, we did our go-to-market strategy for Biashara Africa with the small businesses. So what did we ensure? We just ensured product market fit. We had the right audience or the right customer with the right product or value proposition. We were also very clear on the audience. We kept on refining with time. Now we are very clear who we are targeting and our value proposition. And then our competitive advantage. You know, we are just not doing lending. We are not focusing on MSMEs. We are focusing on small businesses with this sort of revenue. Yeah. And then once we got there, then we focused on our distribution. So how do we reach more of them? We had also to understand how these small businesses operate, especially in emerging markets like Africa. And Nigeria is not very different from our market in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and the likes. Your market is more vibrant, and I'm sure my time is up. So I just have one more last slide, and I will end it there. So around distribution, we then now focus on how do we reach more of these women. We had to understand them best. Referrals and word of mouth is great when you're working with smaller businesses, because every small business knows like 10 other small businesses or operates within a market where there are many small businesses or they're in these investment groups. We call them here in Kenya chamas, but we also have something similar in Nigeria. So once we have a happy small businesswoman, they will go telling others, and we have the viral effect. Then we also got partners, collaborative partners, who also helped us grow our distribution. So our last slide, and then I will end and maybe share one or two resources on the chart, is that I would say your go-to-market strategy should include how you will attract customers or leads at least, how you will convert customers, and how you will retain your customers. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. I will set up my office hours so you can reach me. I will request that this is shared on the chat if possible. If not, I will do so. And you can also take time to see how other startups have done their go-to-market strategy. So all the very best. I'm happy to take questions or meet you during the office hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. So founders, questions afterwards. We'll take questions, but you could note your questions or drop your questions in the chat section there. So Camelia, are you ready? Camelia Tan?
Yes, I am ready.
So the link constantly in the chat. Thank you. I know.
One minute. Good evening, everyone. Can you all see my slide?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, Shegun, can you help me? I've projected.
Okay.
Shegun, can you please help me? Or can you
just a minute. They're going to
Okay.
share your screen. They're going to share your slides now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And it's nice to be here. Shegun, I guess my 10 minutes starts from now.
I said I won't time you, but of course, if you want me to, I'll gladly oblige. So you want me to time, I'll help you out. I'll time you.
Okay, thank you and good evening from Lagos, Nigeria. I don't know where you're listening to me from. So I'll just take a deep dive into the presentation. So, I mean, can everyone see the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, so that is just the introduction and just simply talked about the statistics that are there. There are about 305 million total startups created in a year from enterprising young people that we have in the room, about 472 million entrepreneurs. And I have a chart there around top Africa's top VC market in 2019. And of course, talking about the gender spread, as it were. So by way of definition, go-to-market strategy is a comprehensive action plan. There's a quote that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And clearly, every presentation up until now has showed a plan that outlines the approach and steps to attract and win new business or new customers. And let me say that with my well over 15 years or 16 years of experience, business is war. So you are constantly iterating. No product is fully formed. You are going to iterate over and over again, enter new markets, increase market share, achieve projected sales and marketing goals and ROI. And of course, to potential entrepreneurs or CEOs, the last thing you want is for a new product to fail. I've seen product fail, but the last thing you want is for a new product to fail. So I currently work with PressPay.ng. The website is www.presspay.ng. I'll share the link, and it's we have an MVP, and I'm going to use this product to talk about go-to-market so that it resonates with us. We have an MVP. We are 2 years now, and we've done pretty well. For those of us in Nigeria, we are aware that the two houses just passed a bill on student loans, and it's waiting for the executive to append its signature. Once that happens, Nigeria will join the League of Nations, if not the first in sub-Saharan Africa, to have something like a student loan, which is common practice in global climes. So PressPay is available, and the primary motive is to flatten out the dropout rate in Nigerian universities. I have a tuition story. I lost my father when I was very young at a tender age, and it almost affected my education. And I'm sure that a lot of people have this story. So this PressPay is just a solution that is meant to help students to walk through their school. Okay, so one is define your target market. You are not for everybody, you are not for everyone. You must define your target market. And at the core of your marketing strategy is a customer. So whether you're bringing a new product to market or refreshing an existing one, it is imperative you first research, and that is where a bit of intelligence gathering is very imperative. I know in this part of the world, we are very loose with data, but you must invest in data, research and development. You must conduct your surveys, do questionnaires, do focus groups, ask questions. And a target group is just a group of individuals who have a shared set of features, such as demographics, psychographic, etc., etc. And these are the people that will most likely purchase your product. You don't want to have a product and then have you begging people to come and buy that product. Number two is define your value proposition. Your business model canvas is a one-pager document, strategic tool that can help you fine-tune your idea and see everything you want as a snapshot. Business model canvas has 9 blocks, from value proposition to key customers, to revenues, to channels, to markets, etc., etc. So your value proposition is the benefit. Why should we subscribe to your product? A cliche in Nigeria says that, can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, A cliche in Nigeria says, if it's not Panadol, it can't be the same thing as Panadol. There's a difference between Coke and Pepsi. I shared on my WhatsApp status that KFC only sells Pepsi. They don't sell Coke. So you must define your value proposition, and it's the benefit you provide to consumers and the problem it solves. If you are not solving a problem, you don't deserve people's money. Let me say it again. If you are not solving a problem, people don't deserve to pay you. So you should have a clear understanding of your value proposition, and it must be very clear. No matter how little it is, even if by a breath, it must be very clear. And this will further guide your marketing effort. Number 3 is craft your pricing strategy. Of course, you need to make money. So there's a market entry pricing. Are you going to do market scheming? Are you going to do market penetration? And in determining your pricing strategy, you need to come up with a lot of variables. What number will give you a break even? Because you are not a charity organization. Even charity, non-for-profit organizations right now, also maybe they don't declare profit, but they need to stay above board because they need to cover certain operating expenses. So price is a very important factor for any product. You don't want to sell a product too less so that it doesn't create a perception of too cheap, or you don't want to sell it too high so that it doesn't look too exorbitant. So you must be able to strike a delicate balance. Your target market and vis-a-vis the product you want to sell will largely influence your pricing. You want to put a lot of things into your pricing, your operating expenses, your capital expenses, etc., etc. You must have an understanding of a reasonable amount, and I use that word carefully, of the price the consumer must be willing to pay for your product. And then, of course, you must promote your strategy. So press pay, what we do, and maybe I should flip back, our target market is simply Nigerian students in tertiary institutions and their parents. Our value proposition is we help you finance your educational dream. So we provide tuition savings, we provide tuition loans, we help with health maintenance. This is unprecedented. It's not happened in sub-Saharan Africa, at least from the feedback that we have gotten. So you must craft your promotion strategy. How do you take this product to your target customers? Are you going to use boots on ground? Are you going to use SEO? Are you going to use website? Are you going to use word of mouth? Are you going to use referrals? What exactly are you going to use? Influencer marketing? You must be able to decide what techniques to push and make your product stay in the faces of people. And of course, your channels are very important. It's pointless having a product that is not in the hand of consumers. How will you get your product to the hands of consumers? And then what you don't measure, you cannot manage. So we launched this product last year, precisely November, at the Afe Babalola Hall, University of Lagos. COVID dealt a huge blow with us, and that's one of the things about planning. You have to embed an element of risk into your business model. ASU was on strike for 8 months, and we were literally grounded. We literally could not do anything. But even with that, and thankfully, by way of the marketing strategies we did, we had well over 11,000 users. 11,000 people had subscribed to our MVP across various channels. It's available on iOS, it's available on Android, and all of that. We had onboarded about 5,000 schools. We had onboarded about 5 partners. One of them is a tier 2 banking institution. But we knew definitely, and as we go into year 2, that what happens if ASU strike continues indefinitely? We need to set the KPI. So we now have KPIs, and KPI is a key performance indicator. What are you doing across all your income lines? How do you want to achieve them? And your go-to-market strategy is going to nudge you into reality. Yes, it's an assumption, but it's good to assume, because if you fail to plan, like I said initially, you will plan to fail. So you need to set your metrics and monitor performance quarterly, monthly, so that you don't lose guard, so that you are able to address. Your data must minister to you. Data drives decisions. And then maybe I should ask a question as I wrap up. Do you build a product for a market, or do you build a market for a product? Do you build a product for a market, or do you build a market for a product? Let me ask the question for the third time. Do you build a product for a market, or do you build a market for a product? In conclusion, figuring out an approach for going to market is one of the toughest things for a startup to do. But without understanding the customer issues, it's almost impossible to get. I want to stay on the go-to-market strategy even first before we scale, because it is only a product that has succeeded in the first place that we will be talking about scaling. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. I hope your expectations have been met. Good evening. Thank you.
Very much, Gamaliel. So you ended by throwing a question to the founders. Do you build a product for the market, or do you build a market for a product, right? Wow, very insightful, and I must congratulate you for what you're doing with PressPay NG. I follow you, you know, so actively online personally, and then FI Abuja also were following you because we are quite impressed with your work, you know. So founders, please keep your have your questions ready, and also this is also a go-to person to have your office hours with. So next presentation will be by Katie. So Katie, you can share your screen and we'll have you. Yeah.
Great. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Very clear.
Very good. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I want to acknowledge the FI Abuja team for being spot on with the order of the presentations. Because presentation, which is without understanding the customer issues, it's almost impossible. And so I want to take just a step back to remind our founders on the call, how do you understand the customer issues? But before I do that, I want to just share a couple of quotes that are some of my favorite quotes, and I think are useful to you in framing how you think about this process of go-to-market. The first one is by Steve Blank. You've probably heard his name. He's a big name in sort of the entrepreneurship and especially the Silicon Valley kind of school of thought on how to approach entrepreneurship. He says, a startup is not a small company. It's a temporary structure created with the purpose of search. So this is something you need to keep in mind as you're going to market. When you go to market, you are still in learning mode. You're still in learning mode. And you'll likely, if you do it right, you should continue to be in learning mode for the entirety of the journey of your business, but especially in the startup phase. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to learn, what is the best way to reach your customers. Hopefully you've laid a very strong foundation in order to be able to do that. But just remember that your startup is just a temporary structure, and its purpose is to search for the perfect business model. The other thing the other quote I really like is, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So to the point of the previous mentor, you really need to be keeping your metrics in mind. You need to have some goals for yourself, because if you don't set clear goals and milestones, you're not going to get anywhere, or that's the risk. So with that, I turn now to kind of the meat of my talk here. So what I'm going to be getting into is You know, how do you prioritize your go-to-market initiatives at the beginning of a business? How do you evaluate the different models for growing the business? How do you develop marketing messages that are actually going to resonate with your target customers? And finally, what are the best techniques to test messaging and customer acquisition channels? So let's go back to the basics here. You know, all of the work that you do for going to market really needs to be underpinned by a fundamental and deep understanding of your customers. And this is really important because you want to identify, you know, which of your customers are most likely to say yes. This is the point I was making to Livingston a little earlier. I was encouraging him to get much more specific about who his customer segments are, because he wants to start with the customers that are most likely to say yes. So how do you figure out who's most likely to say yes? Well, hopefully you've been true to your FI deliverables and you've been conducting customer interviews, and you've been conducting those interviews in a way that allows you to figure out, you know, who are these different profiles that exist, you know. So I'm picking on Livingston a little bit. He's talked about content creators. Across the board with different content creators, which are the ones that are most likely to want to use his service? You know, my hypothesis is that it's bloggers, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe he finds that, you know, the typical user of web building applications like Wix or like Foursquare, for example, are the types of users who are most likely to say yes to a content development tool. Who knows? You need to figure out what your hypotheses are, and they should be coming from data. And what is that data? The data is the customer interviews you have conducted about your solution. So what do you do if you don't have that data yet? You need to go back and start interviewing customers. And I want to challenge you, if you're not already doing it, you need to be interviewing at least 10 customers a week. And that's not hard. That's an average of, you know, 1 to, you know, 2 people per day, which is very doable. The second basic foundation you want to keep in mind is you need to identify where your customers are located physically and digitally. And so I'm going to go back to Livingston's example. Part of the reason why I'm wanting to push him to get more specific is because the more specific you are, the easier it's going to be for you to figure out where are they located physically and digitally. If you're super broad, well, your answer is going to be, well, my customers are everywhere. Well, where is everywhere? You know, and what's your entry point to actually talk to them in a way that's going to resonate with them? So if you've done deep enough customer validation, customer understanding work, you're going to have figured out where are your customers hanging out. Now, you know, for some of the pitches that I heard tonight, I want to challenge you to also rethink, you know, have you really identified who your customer is? You know, have you really identified who your customer is, you know? So for example, for the gentleman who's malware tool, potentially your target customers are really users of secure telecom. Maybe it's not general users. Maybe it's people who are particularly concerned about the security of SMSs. Maybe you are bundling your service in, you know, the cell phone services offered to particular segments. So really, maybe you're more focused on partnering with your cell phone telecoms. Who knows? I mean, it's really, really important for you to get very clear on who your customer is so that you can figure out where they're located so that you can go there to market to them. The third basic element I want to cover is it's really, really important that you listen first and then offer your solution. We become very, very enamored with, I heard this a lot, and you're probably like, yeah, that's not me. Come on, let's move on and let me launch my business. But I cannot stress it enough. If you're not listening, you're not going to understand your customer very well. And you're also not going to understand how to make a powerful first impression on them. So it's really, really important that you make sure that you spent the time of validation and customer understanding done. The next item is that this should not be just a haphazard process. I mean, yes, you're in an accelerated program, so we want you to throw yourself in there and just make it happen. And you need to do so with intentionality. So how do you do so with intentionality? Make sure that it's your actual data, not your wish about what you would like to be true, not your romantic idea about what your business should be. It should be your actual data from your customers that is defining how you sell. So you really, if you at this stage don't have a spreadsheet where you have listed, well, these are the interviews I've conducted. These are the common themes that have come up. These are the common phrases that I've heard my customers use. If you haven't done that, you haven't done, in my opinion, you haven't done thorough enough customer understanding in order to have a successful go-to-market. That's really important, because if you can go back and pick out key phrases or key concepts that you hear your customers repeating, you have your marketing messaging. You got it, because you really listen to your customers, you analyze the data you got from them, and you're using that data to shape your go-to-market strategy. So forgive me, I know I was a little bit animated in sort of going over those points, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen entrepreneurs go through the program, but still not apply these items. And it is the game changer. It's the make or break. So I'm mindful of the time here. I know I need to move a little bit quickly so we can get to the other presentation. So I'm going to skip over a few things, but make some important points. So in terms of how do you prioritize, really, really important at this stage, you as a founder should be focused more so on selling activities instead of marketing activities. You know, in your FI literature, there's an example, the example of Airbnb. You know how big Airbnb is right now, but guess what? When they started out, they were just selling to one user at a time. That's what you need to do. And why is it so important for you to just focus on selling right now? Is because if you as the founder do the selling, first of all, you're able to use those customer interactions to get more data about what the right go-to-market strategy will be. And it's not good enough to put your team on it, because they're not going to look at it the same way that you will as the founder. They're not going to capture the little opportunities and data the same way you will. So it should be you as the founder. And you also want to give those early users a very high touch experience, because that is what plants the seeds for viral growth. When they have an amazing experience with you, they're going to say, wow, this service is really great. And that's when you can get a testimonial that you can put on your website. You know, one of the founders was talking about organic growth today. You really want to be intentional about how you're going to capture feedback from your customers, not only to reshape your solution or your product or service, but also because that's what's going to cause them to want to encourage other people to utilize your service and drive that organic growth that you were talking and again, let data to market. You should be collecting information, noticing how is the customer responding. So really build in a systematic and structured process where, as you're executing your go-to-market strategy, you need to follow up with them and ask them, what are the reasons why they dropped? What caused them to choose the alternative that they chose? And then you know to build those features into your solution. All right, so how do you evaluate different models for growing the business? you need to understand that what you're aiming for in this phase is you want to get product market fit. Hopefully, if you've done things right, you've gotten your problem solution fit, which means that you've identified clearly what really is the problem in your customers' words, and is your solution the solution they want? And now, if the answer is yes to that, now you want to look at the wider market that that customer is part of and confirm, is this product the right product for this particular market? So, you know, as I mentioned earlier, the gentleman who has the SMS solution, I would challenge you to consider, is your market really individual users? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a really specialized subset that are focused on the security of SMSs. Who is that subset? I don't know. That's work you need to do. But I would challenge you to just confirm whether you have the right market. Let's see, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. You also want to test out different models. So, you know, maybe direct sales is the way to go, maybe not. Maybe it's partnerships, maybe not. Maybe it's web funnels. I mean, this is the time for you to choose particular strategies, test them out, see if they work, and then try out some other strategies. You want to maybe do multiple strategies simultaneously and see which one yields the best results for you. So this is the opportunity to do that, learning about what is the best approach. All right, and I'm mindful of my time. I think I've run out of time here. So a final couple of points that I want to make. So test techniques for testing your messages. So the first step to develop marketing messages that will be effective for your go-to-market strategy is your customer understanding. As I said earlier, ideally, you're analyzing your data and you're checking, what do my target customers most frequently mention as an issue? What words have they used in order to describe that issue? Hopefully, you can pick out a few key phrases and you make sure you integrate that into your marketing messages. And now, how do you see if your customers are resonating with those messages? There are a number of ways that you can run experiments to choose the most powerful messaging. I'm going to encourage you to just take you'll have access to these slides on the FI platform. Google these terms, because I don't have time to go into them in detail, but vaporware effectively is you hosting a page where you make it a possibility for your target customer to click buy on the solution that you've offered, even if it's not ready yet. It doesn't even have to be ready. You are just wanting to present them with an interface that offers them the solution to see if they're resonating with it enough that they would choose to buy. A/B testing your messages against Google Ads. You may choose two Google Ads, one having one set of messages, another having a different set of messages. Based on your two hypotheses about the messages that would work, you're able to track the metrics and see which of those two messages resonates best with your customers. Now, going back to the previous presenter's point about making sure that you're tracking your numbers, here are a couple of terms that I want to encourage you to go on YouTube when you have time and watch there are plenty of very short, clear videos that explain to you these items. But these are metrics that during your go-to-market strategy, you need to be paying attention to in order for your business to make business sense. You want to understand, what are your customer acquisition costs? You want to make sure that you understand, what are your costs per customer? So what does it cost you to acquire all of the different elements, you know, what does it cost you to acquire a customer, including all of the different elements in that journey? So for example, if you need to customers. You want to factor into your cost per customer. What is the cost of getting leads, etc. And finally, you want to make sure that you understand the lifetime value of your customers. All right, I'm going to pause it there. Sorry to rush it at the end. I know I went well over my time. Sorry for that. Hopefully you found some value, and I will turn over to our moderator.
Thanks, Katie. You know, I just couldn't stop you. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop you. Great one there. Okay, so we'll be taking the last presenter. Are you ready for us? Would you? Are your slides ready?
No, I don't have a slide. Is it my turn?
Okay.
It's
your turn.
So after we've heard Kerry talk, I don't know what you still want me to say.
Talk.
Just talk.
No. Tell us story about Tofa.
So here, I don't know, because sorry, my network went off at a point. But you know, I was engrossed in all she's saying, because she's so on. Let me put my video on. I hope my network will take it, because it's crazy. It just keeps going up and down. You know, after listening to her, I was saying, please, Kelly, maybe you need to share your slides with me. You know, it's so spot on all she has said. You know, I don't know what else anybody wants to hear. Really, that's true. I'll probably share a few perspectives. Maybe the idea is to, you know, show a few things that people have done. And I must say something at this point. I think we should all know that there is no hard and fast rule to anything. People have done things differently from the norm, and it has worked. And I keep saying that it's not everybody that will be an entrepreneur or a startup founder. You know, there's an intuition that comes with it. And don't take it, I call it the grace of God. I'm a child of God, I say that. And when I say it, sometimes my friends say, are they children of devil? I don't know, you claim who you want to be. You know, it's up to you to say, if I say I'm a child of God, you can say me too. That it works, because he's enough for everybody. You don't have to start beefing me that I said I'm a child of God, and you're saying it's only you. If you want to be sister in the kingdom, you can join. But what I'm saying is that intuition, I call it the grace of God, call it luck, call it whatever it is that appeals to you. But that is what differentiates between someone who is just looking for a way out from a core entrepreneur, a core startup founder. Because what we're doing is like swimming against the tides. And especially when we're building products for people, I know a lot of us have put down a lot of things. If you go to the internet, you hear go to market strategy, everybody has spoken about it. Harvard has something on it. Everybody has something on go to market strategy, you know, but I must tell you that you have to create your own. It may be a mixture of one or two things you've seen somewhere, you try it, it's working, and then you continue to work. And because you're dealing with human beings, there is no guarantee that what worked today will work tomorrow. And that's why they always say that you need to be flexibly fast. And anyway, I say that, to be flexibly fast. And I must tell you that the stage where you are is the best stage really in entrepreneurship and startup space, because it's the stage where you fail and people understand that it's okay to fail. As you grow and scale, people start, you should know better. Meanwhile, you're dealing with human beings who you can't really say this is what a human will do. You know, yes, we can make projections, but sometimes they fail, even from the best of us. You know, so go figure. Without even just trying to repeat what everybody has said, I mean, Gamaliel and everybody has said, Rachel has also very interesting go-to-market strategies and how they have executed in their space. Kelly resonates with me a lot. Without repeating that, I see go-to-market as not just what you have to do at the point when you have finished building your products and you're looking, okay, so how do I now start marketing my products? There's a great difference between a marketing strategy, a marketing plan, and a go-to-market strategy. And the difference is this: a marketing plan and a marketing strategy comes later. A go-to-market strategy starts everything about your startup. So it is the plan to bring your product from the idea to the market. So you can see that that is even the first thing. Go-to-market strategy is all encompassing. All right. A lot of people have divided it into 5 key things that you need to do to grow your business. And I agree with everybody that has spoken. I can tell you what I've done in TOFA, and it has to do with the market I'm looking at in TOFA. So you must look at your product. So the first thing is the products. How customer-centric is your product? And that's why when I was talking to my John about Crystals, I mean, people sit down and they think, well, Alibaba is working. We don't have Alibaba in Africa. Let's build Alibaba in Africa. It's nice, it's sexy, it's everything. Have you looked at the people you're trying to address, the products? So if Alibaba, Jack Ma takes Alibaba as a startup in Africa and drops it here, it's going to fail. It's going to fail because you're dealing with a market that does not even, that the basic things they don't have. So, and you're bringing a marketplace to somewhere, to people in Zungeru market. They're looking at you as, is this person out of his mind? Do you understand what I'm saying? So how do you address these people? It's a marketplace you want, but it may not resonate with them to come and give them an app and say, carry this app. The man does not have light in his house. So do you want him to charge the phone to be checking app? The man does not have data. Data is expensive. He doesn't even have Android phone. So if you want to solve, you have to first of all solve for light so that his light will be on. Solve for data so that he'll be able to have data on the phone. Solve for the phone itself so that he'll be able to even own an Android phone. Before you can start telling the man that you have to download this platform now, and when you now sell to have 2 bags, add it here. He has to even understand how to type. Illiteracy. A typical Chinese man is learned. I use learned because he can type their language. What do they even speak again? Mandarin. They can write it and they can type it. The keyboards are in their local languages. So if you go to call a cab man uses his app very well, and he's a very old man. But he uses it in Mandarin, in their local language. So maybe what we would have done is to be building some of these things in Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. Maybe at that point, because some of our old parents understand those languages. And if these apps are in those languages, maybe they can, maybe participate. But English, a lot of us don't understand English. I'm telling the man that he needs to now go change this thing, do this thing. The man is not, he might say, okay, if you have a phone to give, he'll collect your phone. But trust me, if you come there next week, it's his son that'll be using the phone to be doing Instagram. So you have to look at the market. I think Katie mentioned it, product market fit. So you have to look at the product and who am I targeting for that product. It's very important, because that's the first. So as beautiful and as interesting as this is, based on the market I'm looking at, well, I need to move it because this is the way my market responds. And then you can get this market response from observation, from survey. Kelly mentioned about survey as well, talking to people to say, I'm looking at this thing, what do you think? Or it may be something you experience firsthand. Like what made me start TOFA? I started TOFA because there was no, remember that time when the Nigerian government placed FS control, so dollar was scarce and expensive. So in my family business, where we were importing from China and all over the world, construction finishing products, I was looking for someone who can do a currency swap. I was doing my global executive MBA in China Europe International Business School, and I was looking for someone in my class. Half of them were Chinese, so I was looking for someone who could do a currency swap with me. I didn't find, but someone introduced me to an agropreneur in Accra. I met with her, and they wanted to buy granules. So I was quite excited because Nigeria grows granules. So I said I could help them because there's granite all over the place in Nigeria. And I had Naira, so I could help them buy it. And then they said they would pay me in dollar and in fact transfer to China for me, solving my problem. But I got to Nigeria here, I started looking for granite, I didn't see. I said, okay, everybody will be. I went online, went to Alibaba, saw some people, sent them messages. Nobody responded to me. I tried TradeKey, tried a few of them, nobody. I started looking. I'm just looking for somebody who has like 20 containers of granules. So I'll just go there, see it, pay, go. It's not my business. I didn't find. And then I decided to build that platform if it's not available, because I didn't find a platform where people, Africans have their products displayed that I can just go there and say, if you have, buy, let me buy from you. I didn't see. Maybe if I had seen, I don't have any business with traders of Africa. I would have just collected from them, paid them, done my thing, gotten my dollar, moved on with my family business. But I didn't find. And that spurred me to action because I was surprised. So this thing doesn't exist. So I started researching. And remember the first quote that Kelly gave about search. So if you're in this space and you don't like research, maybe it's time to probably look for a good 9 to 5 paying job and just go to work and get paid and just manage your life like that. Because if you're in this space and you're not someone who has a quest for knowledge, because you have to continuously reinvent yourself to remain even in the space. If not, you'll be outdated and obsolete, and someone will just come and overtake, take all your markets in the twinkle of an eye. So you have to be on your toes in research. And that research is what will let you in deep into the products that you want to bring to bear and the people that you're even making those products to. That's the first thing. So after you have analyzed the product and you think you've gotten a product that the people will like, okay, so how do you sell this product to the people? So let me tell you. So in Traders of Africa, after we have built this nice, have you seen our platform? Go check it out. Beautiful, very nice, very easy to use, all of that. So we started talking to people, I got someone, they were doing social media. I didn't have money from the get-go. I didn't want to go into this marketing world. That was when Dreamy and Kunga were doing marketing world. Remember that time they were spending money like something, So I didn't even have money. How will I play with Dreamy and Kunga that have raised so much money? So I was just managing myself, trying to put things out there. People were clicking, but it's not coming the way I felt. I thought that after I've built it now, put it out, talking about it, that people would just be coming, market everywhere. I didn't see, nobody was buying anything. People will come, maybe they will come, look around and go. Even though I have about 9,000 suppliers on the platform from 5 African countries. So I was not asking myself, what do I do? So one day I went to school, I was in China, in my room. In fact, my classmates then will tell you that at that point, the only thing, if you lecturer, the facilitator, the faculty will be talking. If you open my laptop, I'll be busy doing TOFA while in class. I was so wired, about this platform. And then I realized that it wasn't going the way I wanted it. We've done all manner. I had a very nice graphics designer. He was churning out different things. We were posting it out. Then one day, that was during sesame seeds season. So one evening, so someone had already told me that they had sesame seeds, I think about 500 metric tons. So normally what I would have done, I'll convince you to open your store on the platform, and they will do. And then I'll start telling people, go to the platform, you will see sesame seed sellers, start doing that. So one day, one Indian man sent me a personal message and said, stop sending me on a wild goose chase. If you have sesame seed, sell to me. Those were his words. Stop sending me on a wild goose chase. If you have sesame seed, sell to me. So I turned to him and I said, yes, I have sesame seed. He said, so what's your price? He started asking me questions. So I answered all his questions from what I got from the seller of that sesame seed. And then I called to that my graphic guy. I said, you know what? Don't say go to the platform to see sesame seeds. Say sesame seeds for sale. Put all of the things out. I couldn't sleep that night. I had people were calling, sending messages, sell to me, do this. I said, wow. So what people are looking for is not necessarily to go and start. People are lazy. So if I tell them, instead of telling them, go and see, if I tell them, I can offer you this, even if it means I'm offering you this, click here and go, even if it means that when they click it, it takes them to that place. That's the kind of communication people would want to have. It was an aha moment for us. And that's what gave rise to Source Pro unit in TOFA. So we say Source Pro is sellers to buyers and buyers to sellers. Okay, so because the message there is that a lot of buyers of this product would want to receive this kind of message. It's very important. Even now, I don't think I have even cracked how to say exactly all that TOFA is doing. I haven't cracked it yet. I still feel that there's something deficient in the way I talk about what we do, and it's still work in progress for us, but it's very important to me because, and I think to you as well, because it's very important that people understand what you're trying to give them in the way they will understand it. So you have to decipher the way your market will take certain messages and send it to them that way. Then it will resonate with them, then they will buy. There's a way you send a message. If you're talking to market women and you're telling them about your platform and you're speaking big English, you're your own. Because once they see that in big English, even though she understands it too, but in her mind, it's not for her. She thinks that maybe it's for people working in VI. Meanwhile, all you're trying to tell her is, please come to the platform and do this. But you're speaking it, I would like with phone, maybe you're doing marketing or somebody is speaking phone. To her, in her head, she thinks it's for people in the bank. I mean, what is her you're talking to? So the messaging is very important. How do I tell people about what I'm doing? Having cracked the product and have a good product market fit. The next thing is, how do I tell the market that this product is there in a language that they will understand? Remember, Oguntu Ashe, I told you, you have to find a way to make me want to pay you for a text message that I ordinarily will receive for free. But you will now want me to still receive my text message, but now pay you 10 naira to receive message. So maybe what it will mean is it possible that the person paying is not the person receiving? And the person paying is the person sending. And that becomes an authentication that the sender is sending something that is not corrupt, that is not spam, that is not whatever. So if the message comes as verified, it means anybody can open it because it doesn't have any of those things. I don't know. I'm just thinking. So you need to, it's very important, like Kelly also mentioned, who who is more willing to say yes to you. Because it's difficult for you to convince me, Uju, to pay for a message I will ordinarily receive free and decide whether to open it or not. And who tells you it's a headache to me to open a message? If I think it's spam, I won't open it, I'll just press delete. It doesn't cost me a dime. But you are telling me to pay you so that when I receive the message, you would have vetted it to say that it's a good message. Maybe if you look at this from another angle, that the person who is sending it, who this message is important to, that it gets to the right people, should be able to bear extra 1 naira. Do you understand? So if I'm paying 2 naira to MTN for sending a message, and I had to probably bear extra 20 kobo to say that this message is real, authentic, it may make sense to me to say, because it means that if I send it, maybe I'm sending it to the Nigerian Breweries chairman. So maybe he knows that I'm not spam. Do you understand me? So it may be okay. So you can look at it from that angle. Messaging and getting the right market. Okay, the next one is sales proposition. There's a difference between sales and marketing. It's very, very important. Sales, and I agree with everything Kerry said about selling. See, you are the chief seller. You know, sometimes in our tech space, they will say, I'm a tech guy. I don't know how to sell. I have to get a business development person to come and do the sale. My own is to build. You lie. If you cannot sell what you're building, you're not in the business of startup. You should be able, you guys are here pitching your stuff. You need to be able to sell your business at every particular point in time. Anytime they call you, you'll be able to wake up and 1 minute you're selling it, 10 minutes you're talking about it, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. You should have different versions of the way you sell your business, because nobody will sell it more than you do. I keep saying my favorite pastime is talk about TOFA. So anytime anybody make mistake and call me and say, would you talk about TOFA? You don't want to go home, because there's so many things to talk about. I'm the one that will sell TOFA much more, because it's my dream. I'm the one that understands it. In fact, when we started 2 years, 1 year or so down the line, one guy that was working with me, doing business development or whatever, no, doing sales, the guy wasn't doing any work. So 3 months of paying salary without getting any value, we asked him to leave. He left my office today. The next day, he changed everything about him on LinkedIn, and we realized that he's been running a business. And in fact, that business is replicating what TOFA is doing. He wasn't even smart enough to change a few things. So that time, I used to manually print out a price list. So in his website, he put that price list the way I printed the last one. Word for word, line for line. My number one was number one there with the price I put everything. I mean, he would have even shuffled it a little bit so that my number 20 becomes number one or something. Exactly, even with the font I sent it in. And my people in my office were very mad. How could he? He was supposed to not compete. Sue him. I said, no, Sue needs to give him publicity. There's no point. Allow him. If this is what he has a flair for, it will grow. It's okay. I didn't even bother. He's closed shop. He closed shop after 90 days or something. Because who owns the business? It's me. I'm the one that have the vision. I'm the one that knows where we are going. You may come and be with me. If you're with me, you understand the vision. But because I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the one that understands every time. So I know the end goal. And as things unfold, I already know how to play with it as it unfolds. But you may understand the end goal. So things are unfolding. You just know that end goal. You may not understand how to go about it. I don't know if I'm making sense to somebody here. Okay, so it's very important, your sales proposition. You must be able to sell by yourself. So how do you sell? To whom do you sell? I've said it here. If you're selling to a market woman, the way you sell to her is different. If you want a market woman to come on your platform, John, and you have somebody working with you, maybe a co-founder, a woman, and she's going to meet the market woman with stiletto shoes and Gucci eyeglasses, I don't even understand. The woman will be looking at her, She's even very fascinated with the way you're dressed. I'm not seeing you. So you have to come to people's level. There's some places you will go, you need to dress that way, depending on the market and who you're trying to talk to. And what you want to take out of that place. There's some places you go, it is the man that you need to talk to first. It's different. So you have to look at your business. You have to look at your business. For someone doing SMS, is the market are you trying to look at it from a wholesale point of view, or is it a B2B2C or a B2B or a B2C? It's up to you. So that will influence the way your sales proposition will go. The way you talk to people, the kind of language you use and all of that. And then we'll go to the marketing. So most of us in Nigeria are not on LinkedIn, I must tell you. Facebook is the place. So if you want to talk to people in Nigeria, certain age group, and you're probably doing it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you might not get a lot of them. LinkedIn is more of the professionals that are there. So if you want to reach professionals, you can go to LinkedIn. If you want to look at fashion, if you're doing fashion and you don't have Instagram, I don't know what you're doing now. Facebook, do you get what I'm saying? So different things for different people. There's even some people that you need to reach, and social media is not the place. If you're someone who is working and the product you have is for old people, and you decide that you want to go to LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat to look for old people, how? What are they doing there? It's not me that will tell you that you need to go to a radio station and find how you can work with them. Do you understand? If you're doing market, so that you can use that media to market whatever you're doing. So who you're trying to address determines how you do your marketing and the kind of money you commit to it. A lot of us, sometimes when we want to do marketing, we're sharing flyers. All those flyers, do people look at it? Because I don't. These ones that they put by the door handle. I'm not saying some people look at it, I mean, you only need one person, right? But if you're sharing, if what you're selling is food, you know, all these food eateries, that can work. You know, mind you, all of these things I'm saying, sometimes it's not just, there's no one shot wins or in all of them. Sometimes you have to do more than one or two of them. And sometimes you might do one, it doesn't work. Remember, flexibly fast. So when you're doing something is not working quickly, as a startup, one thing you must know and do for yourself is to tell yourself the truth. You can lie to everybody. They say fake it until you make it. You can bamboozle everybody. But you know, to yourself, tell yourself the truth. When something is not working, you can tell yourself, you know, this thing is not working, but let me try it for another 2 weeks. To every other person, they can be saying, this is the best thing that has happened to our company. We're the best, this is the best time for our company. But you know, to yourself, you're telling yourself, this is not working. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's the only way it will help you to grow, to come out of it and look for alternative and look for what works. If you keep living in delusion, you know, lying to everybody and to yourself, then you will fail. You come one day and you're just hollow and then you just fall. But if you tell yourself the truth, it's not working. Like there are a few things we have changed this year in TOFA. And because I told my people, I said, this thing, I will not do it again. Like even there's a new one I even instituted today. I used to have a very vibrant tech team. I told them for 2023, I'm not going to have a full tech team like I've had it. I'm probably going to defend just 2 of them. Every other person will go, I will outsource all my tech and have people stay to manage. It's just for me to look at it critically. Is this working for me? Am I getting value? If you're doing a particular marketing and you're not getting, so you must always, Kerry mentioned it as well. You must also always look at what do I want to achieve? I think also Rachel mentioned, what do I want to achieve from this? Put that number in your head and tell yourself, well, I'm looking for 100. If I get 60, that's not bad. At the point you're finishing and you're seeing that you're getting 20, it's not me that will tell you that this is not working. So you must tell yourself, what else should I do? And if you don't know, see, you must not know everything. If you don't know, because you know that it's not working and you don't know, is why you will not start asking around, talking to people, help me, ask for help. We help each other. But if you believe and you're deceiving yourself, you will not ask for help. Everybody asking how is business? Oh, it's very good. It's the best thing. This year is my year. We cook up books, cook up numbers, everything. People will say you're okay now, and they will leave you. And then one day you realize that you can't even pay salary, you can't do a lot of things. So to yourself, be true.
I think the founder needs to solve the problem of power in this country. I think we do. Yes, Mika, you want to take a shot at it, David? Okay. Let's see if she comes back in the next 1 minute. Oh, she's off. Okay, so we still have Rachel Gamelia in. So quick Q&A. Questions, founders. Oh, would you? You're muted.
Is the network. Once they bring light, it will go off. They take it again, it will go off. Nigeria is happening to all of us. So that's the thing. So please, to yourself, be true. See, and I want to, this is not part of the go-to-market strategy, but I just want to re-emphasize it. The wahala of startup is too much. We should all be calming down sometimes. Find something that makes you happy and do it. Look for some friends and hang out with them. This thing called mental health is not only for women. Men also go through it. So sometimes it will reach, especially because, we set ourselves on a high jump. It is only you. Shebi, I've listened to all of the pitch. It is only you that will say next year I'll do $2.3 million. Nobody asked you a question. You could have said next year I'll do $200,000 and it will be okay. But because we are all overachievers, we will not say 2.3 million. And then by October, November, you realize that you haven't even done $10,000. You're on your own, you're in trouble. It's true. I'm telling you, I'm also suffering from all of that. Nobody sent me a message. You can come and say, this year I did $1 million. Business didn't go as I like it. But no, we have said we will do $10 million. And suddenly $1 million seems so small. Meanwhile, a lot of people, we hear $1 million, I'm like, are you serious? You're doing that? But we set ourselves on a very high jump. And then the mental issue starts. You're thinking, you're berating yourself for things that you didn't do and all of that. And you're setting yourself up, you're unhappy. Everybody around you is unhappy. Guys, let's calm down. One thing I want all of us to do is to do our best. When you do your best in certain things, you've done your best. Once you've done your best, that's all. Leave it there. Conquer your fear. There is no scorecard. Somehow in our climb, we've started associating success with how much people have raised. So you're someone, as you are, your cohort now, somebody will now raise the first 1 million. Every other person is in trouble. Even when you now raise 300,000, it doesn't look like anything. Meanwhile, if nobody has raised any more than you're the first person that raised 50K, you're feeling like a king. Or because the man has raised 1 million, somebody now says it's only 200,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? So can we calm down and manage our expectations? It's going to be a very rough road. If what I have gone through in the last 5 years is what you guys are about to enter, trust me, it's a very rough road, and you need friends around you to calm you down. Sometimes you feel, even me at this point, don't mind what Ajuma is saying. You want to hear my story? If you come here, I'll tell you. There's nothing to be hidden. It is rough, but people will do it. They say it's impossible until it's done. And who are going to do it is human beings, and like me, with one head. So if it's human beings that will do it, why not me? So I will enjoin you to be resilient, to be very patient with yourself and with people around you, but resilient all the same, to keep pushing, especially when you don't want to wake up. You know, sometimes you lie down on your bed, you don't want to get up to even leave your room, especially those times. Just keep showing up and be true. You know, it's possible that you have all the money you need and you lose all that money, but you're very true and your integrity is not in doubt. That there will always be an angel somewhere who will pick you up and try you out because you've been true. But when you've been very dishonest, that's when people just leave you and say, this person is not a good person. As much as possible, say what you will do and do what you say you will do. It's going to be difficult, but eventually it's worth it at the end. I don't know. I didn't do slide. I was just lazy. I must tell you, I'm swamped. So much is happening to me at this point. Okay. But this is it. You have my LinkedIn. I play well on LinkedIn. If you send me a message, I will respond. A few of you have already sent me connection request and I've connected already. If you're even tired, you just want a listening ear, I may not have answers for you. I don't have money to invest yet in startups. Very soon I will have, and I will start investing. But if you're playing in my space and you want to collaborate with us, please let me know how you want to collaborate and we'll look at it. And if it works, we'll work together. You know, also as you start your business, look at collaborations with people that are doing something around you. Thank you. It's more than 10 minutes, but you know, I told you I like talking about TOFA.
Okay. So, okay. So I see hands raised up. Emeka, Lawrence, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? I'm not going to bring questions coming up after questions. So, so guys, final answer. Just two. Just two. Okay. So Emeka, go first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all our mentors and the sessions. They were really, really exciting and engaging. I couldn't hold my expression because a lot of the things that were described just expressed where I am or where I've been. And it's more or less like you're seeing people who have gone ahead of you. And as they're telling the story, you laugh because you've been there. And I owe a lot of thanks to you guys. I have questions for the three remaining mentors that are around. For you, Madam Uju, e-commerce is there's so many e-commerce platforms everywhere. I've been to your site like ever since before the class started. Okay, as soon as you mentioned your platform, I went there. There are so many e-commerce platforms everywhere selling different kinds of products. And you're just wondering, is there any space for any new entry, you know? And what are the key areas that you think that problems have not truly been solved that we need to look at so that we'll not just keep duplicating everybody having platforms and sales are not happening. So that's for you. And then I would like to ask Mr. Gamaliel and Madam Rachel, you mentioned your traction, but you didn't give us a bit of a detail of how you gathered them. What process did you use? Was it social media? Did you market? Did you go physically to the school? Did you go to meet the women in the market? Like, what are those little things, action steps that you did that help you grow that number? Those are my questions. Thank you.
I think what we should do, we take the Lawrence question so that we, you know, each mentor will just pick his own questions, right?
Yeah, let me take. Okay, so it's still out. The jury is still out. Trust me, on e-commerce, we're not solving the problem yet. Nobody is solving that problem. Kunga, Jumia, all of us, nobody. I'm being very honest with you. That's the truth. I hope I'm the one that solves it eventually. All right. But one thing I know, and I must tell you, is that I've realized I cannot do it alone. So there's going to be a lot of partnership for it to work. There's going to be a lot of, I've started garnering them. We've partnered with National Action Commission for Nigeria. We're in partnership with them right now. and we are onboarding from that angle. There's a partnership we are working with for a huge, one of the biggest companies in South Africa right now. If that goes on first quarter next year, it will come on board. We keep looking for partnerships to be able to bring in logistics partners, different type of partnerships need to come in if we're looking at it. It's a long play. So if you're looking at e-commerce and we're looking at B2B at this point, okay, so if you're looking at that, you have to have a long play in mind. You know, it's not something that you're coming today and you're making $20 million tomorrow and cruising. Well, it may work, that's grace. But I have to say, even Jumia is struggling. You guys are seeing, after how many billion sunk in, I don't know how many of us will raise billions now to do e-commerce in Africa. I don't know who's going to give that kind of money to anybody. Jumia had it, and you guys know where they are. So the jury is out. I don't know what your solution is. I didn't listen to you. So if you believe in it so much, why not? If you think you want to partner with Tufa at a point, can we talk about it? But I think, my opinion, having been here for 5 years, is that the only way we can achieve it is through partnership. And that's our play, that's our focus in Tufa.
Thank you very much. So the second question for Gamelia and Rachel, you asked, sorry, we can come again with that question. I tried to take note.
Yeah, so they mentioned the tractions they had, but we didn't really get, like, did you do social media marketing? Did you walk to where the women are? Did you go to schools to onboard? How many people were in your team? What were the action steps you did to gather up to 10,000 people on your platform and engage them?
Okay.
So Richard, go first. Okay, anyone. What are your tips?
Rachel,
first.
I'm sorry, Rachel. Let me just quickly take a dive. I want to.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so thank you, Uju. I felt you did, humbly speaking, more service to the go-to-market presentation, because this wasn't a go-to-market. It was like you were firing cylinders. At some point, I was saying, hey, Uju, I hope you are not scaring these people. But I think it is what it is. My team and I have committed a lot of money into this project. Everything we have done has been self-funded. My savings, I don't have a savings, so I'm as dead broke, as fine as I'm looking. A lot of people have called us stupid, and I've had to.
I hope you have rice for Christmas. I hope you have rice for Christmas, Gabalia, like an assist.
I will order from your platform, please. So it's not been very easy. A lot of people have not believed in this dream, and they do not believe in it. In this part of the world, you have politics to deal with. We've written, and I say this without fear of favor, we've written letters to the office of the vice president, seeking an audience with them. And then all we've been saying is what is in it for them, and all of that. So back to your question about traction, we have used a lot of things, and perhaps it's just to say we don't know what will work. We have used, because of students, I can't tell how many schools I've been to in the Southwest. We reduced the numbers drastically because of kidnapping, because I don't know how much anyone will place on my head right now that will make them say, let us release Gamaliel. I'd rather not go to some areas. We've done social media marketing has worked for us more. We've invested a lot in social media, and we track the numbers. Like someone said about conversion per cost, all those metrics, that is where the metrics come in. How much do you spend on an ad? Who is clicking? So you want to buy something on Jumia, you abandon the cart, and then we get several calls and we keep calling out. So it takes a lot of time to convert a customer. And now you're not talking about the lifetime of that customer. We've done adverts on BLT buses. We've gone to schools, we've given freebies. I can tell you in confidence that one of the paramilitary agencies gave us our first scholarship grant. And that, to a large extent, has helped us. So it is not been very easy. The 10,000 onboarding has been across iOS, Android, and the web. So it's an aggregate, as it were. So we are still iterating. Uju said something about messaging. And while we were here, I was taking notes. I had to send a message to my CEO. We have to change our messaging. Are we getting the messaging right? So like I said, no product is fully formed. We have iPhone 14 now. Maybe tomorrow, iPhone 15 will be there. So no product is fully formed. You have to keep iterating and iterating. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, I have very little to add, but it would be nice to understand your business, Emeka, because I don't think you pitched. What's your business in 30 seconds?
Okay, so it's
e-commerce. Time starts now.
It's e-commerce, but the emphasis is on delivery. We want to solve the delivery problem for e-commerce platform. I want to start solving that from our own e-commerce platform. We want to make it easier, especially in the last mile sector.
And have you launched?
Yeah, so we already have 500. We already have 500 sellers. We are now currently talking to over 100 delivery companies, so that once people order, it's delivered to wherever they are.
Okay. Just feedback. Not clapback. Hope next time when I attend this session, you will pitch.
Okay.
But I asked whether you've launched, and you told me you have 500 sellers. So I assume that you're dealing with the sellers directly, but you're also talking to, you're also talking to delivery providers.
Yes.
And you're also a delivery provider.
No, I am not a delivery provider. I'm only aggregating delivery providers on our platform.
Like Uber? Like Uber?
Yeah, exactly, like Uber.
Okay, got it. So this is what I saw one of the players do. So they tried to work with small businesses directly and scale that. It never worked. So what they did, they went to manufacturers and focused on that industry so that the manufacturers would outsource their transport department to them. So outsource delivery to suppliers, to wholesalers, to retailers. And it seems to be a sweet spot for them. So you just have to try it and see what works for you, right? So that's just one example. We have another one who tried just delivering, and delivery is a big issue in Africa. You buy something for $2, then you have to spend $3 to have it delivered. So that's also a barrier to e-commerce. Right? So you need to also have that in mind, because I can't be spending more delivering on delivery than the cost of the item.
Exactly.
Right? But I saw another provider. They tried getting directly to small businesses or retailers as well. And they realized that it wasn't making more money for them. So what they did is they added fulfillment service or sort of warehousing, such that if you're selling, let's say you're selling fashion or beauty products, so you can take your beauty products or your inventory to them. They'll manage the inventory. So when you get an order, they receive the order, receive the money, and then deliver the item. So they're more in control of that value chain. So that seems to be working so far. I don't know for how long it will work, but seems like a better model than what they had before. So as Uju said, you need to do your research as well and keep researching what others are doing. I think so, until you get your sweet spot, and then keep trying new things. If you fail fast, you know. So that would be my advice. So best wishes to you, Emeka.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Okay, great one. Lawrence, the last question for.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'd like to
you talked about the mental health, and it's something that we really that we really need to focus on. I think for the past 2 weeks, I've been really down, and it's not just physically. It was like the whole stuff was messing with mental health, because we're thinking of paying staff, and we're thinking of the next month, we're thinking of our targets that were not yet met yet, and then we are supposed to have like a bigger target for the next year and all of that. So it's really something. So but we are in for this, like we are out to take the market, so we'll just try our very best. Yeah, and then so my question is this. My question is for Rachel. You talked about providing access to collateral-free financing, and so I want to know how you achieve this. Is it as a result of partnerships? And why I'm even bringing this up is because my company, what we are building is called Pelid. It's an escrow service, and we see ourselves more as an enforcer, as a enabler of the market. Yeah, sorry, sorry. As an enabler, sorry, as an enabler for the market. And sorry, please. Sorry. Oh God. Oh God. Hello? Hello? Okay. Yes, so we see ourselves as a market enabler. Sorry, I used enforcer, but we see ourselves as a market enabler. And why I say so is because e-commerce is not really doing very well in Africa because of certain factors. And to mention two of these factors, we have we have access to credit here, and then we have lack of trust. And people are not going to buy anything. People are not going to buy if they don't have
you need to really get to the question.
Yeah. I'm getting to the question. My question needs to have a base so that I'm going to get an answer that will actually suit me. Okay. So my question is this. You talked of access to financing, like providing access to financing for these businesses. So how do you achieve this? Are you putting yourself directly in the face of this risk, or you are achieving this as part of a partnership with another entity or multiple entities to be able to provide financing for these businesses so that they can grow their businesses? It's for Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks, Lawrence. Great business, actually. So we are doing it through partners. So that's how we are de-risking. Lending.
Okay.
Have I answered your question?
You have answered, but the rest will happen in office hours. Thank you.
The rest
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Great, guys. Thank you for the session. Rachel, thanks a lot. Gamalia, thanks a lot. Uju, thanks a lot. Then I'll hand over now to Lady A. Uju, take over. Thanks a lot. Then I'll hand over now to Lady A.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful evening. It's to be our last session for the year. So we're going on holiday to resume early January, January 4th to be precise. So I wish everyone a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year in advance. And we'll still be, having office hours. And so mentors, please, I know that everyone is gradually shutting down, preparing for the Christmas holiday, but please make out time for your office hours so that founders can, engage, because even though it's holiday, they will still be busy, working on their businesses, to put things in place ahead of the new year. So I'd like to thank you all once again. So as usual, we'll continue to share information on the WhatsApp platform, and then email, anything, or and to the FI Abuja team, Shegun, thank you, Catherine, thank you for all your time and efforts, and to all the mentors who have mentored in the program since cohort 4 started, thank you, and to our special mentors for today, thank you. So good night, and God bless you all. Bye.